Y'all, I was sitting in that chair, feeling the very talented, extremely experienced makeup artist take a razor to my eyebrows. And I wasn't necessarily as uncomfortable with it as I thought I was going to be, considering my past makeup vendetta, or in that moment, it was definitely a very present makeup vendetta. But I wasn't as uncomfortable as I thought I was going to be about the makeup. I was uncomfortable for a completely different reason. And quite honestly, since then, I have not worked with a professional makeup artist, mostly because I think that experience really showed me how unnecessary it was and reinforced a lot of beliefs and the vendetta I had at the time. So I figured I would come on today and share that story and also, I'll maybe end up on a tangent about business because that's what we do on a day-to-day basis around here. But as sort of like a personal thing, because y'all might have noticed, I don't wear makeup on camera. My eyebrows are not all fancy pantsy, bro. I don't even do the edge control drama. Okay. And there's a specific reason for that. And I wanted to share about that today. So, for all my business owners, stick around for the business tangents that may or may not happen. And for everyone else, enjoy the story, I suppose. So the vendetta, here's what it is, y'all. When I was growing up as a teenager, watched nearly every single girl around me like run to the makeup. It starts with the eyebrow pencils and the eyeliners and the lipsticks and the lip gloss, and then it progresses to the foundation and the blush and the contour and the. I was just like, bruh, this looks like a lot. And also, a lot of them were being extremely critical of themselves. And it was all framed from my experience, from the perspective of what they wanted to cover up, what they wanted to hide, all the blemishes, spots, acne, etc., that they didn't want people to see. And I was just like, but that's not your real face, though. remember thinking that multiple times. I remember thinking to myself, like, that's not your actual face. Like your eyebrows don't grow out of your eyebrow line in that manner. and and then lashes became a huge thing. I mean, there were a thing before, but like everybody's now buying and doing their own lashes, and everybody's now buying and doing their own lashes, and we have all kinds of glues and ways of application and all these things. And I'm just like, when you take those off and you are with your partner, because side note also, most of these girls were trying to do this whole makeup situation to attract a partner, right? That was what it was all for. It was for the guys. And it's not that I didn't want to attract the guys, but I was very clear, like, if you cannot rock with what this is, what's the point? Like, I'm not going to bed with makeup on. I'm not waking up and putting on makeup before you wake up. So, like, what am I gonna do? Am I just gonna pretend my whole life like this is my face? It's not my face. If I were to wear makeup, it would not be my real face. And as a sort of deeper, kind of, I don't know if you'd call it philosophical, but an underlying motivation for me was also very clear that, like, I did not want to get into a position where I liked myself and liked how I looked more with makeup on and with my eyebrows done and with my hair done a certain way. Like, I wanted to love myself exactly as I was. And I had a sneaking suspicion in my teenage Chelsea mind that if I ever got into a position where I started wearing makeup on a regular basis, I would prefer that appearance to my natural appearance. And so I just never learned. I never learned. I never prioritized it. It was never a big deal to me. And thank the Lord, because when I looked at those prices, I was like, baby boo, it weren't going to be me spending hundreds of dollars to cover up your natural face? Bro, it never made no sense to me. I'm sorry, it never made no sense to me. And and I called it a vendetta at the start of this video because quite frankly, y'all, I was very against it for a very long time. When I say against, I mean staunchly against. And it's not that I would judge people when they wear makeup, but if anyone ever asked me about wearing makeup on my face, it was a hard no. I have aunts and my mother has had this conversation with me so many times. Of like, Chelsea, you can just try it, you know. Nope. Mm-mm. No, 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 no. The young version of Chelsea was not having it. And I was so side note, y'all, I was so upset when I relaxed my hair. My mom told me I had to relax my hair because I had to be the one to take care of it. And like the story is relaxed hair is easier to take care of. And I was made it natural from morning. I loved my natural hair. Anytime like I can do this and just feel my natural hair growing out of my scalp and feel the curl pattern. I don't know how many of y'all have that habit, but it is the I love my hair. I learned to love my face the way it is. I learned to love my eyes, my lips. I all even learned to love my skin when my skin was riddled with acne. Like I wasn't comfortable with it. But I was like, this is me. And I would prefer to show up in the world in this way than cover it all up and actually more than likely make the problem worse because let's be real, Chelsea didn't have the money to buy the fancy makeup that wasn't going to make the problem worse. That was what non-comedogenic is the word, non-comedogenic. I don't know how you pronounce that word, but the one that wouldn't clog your pores and wouldn't cause bare problems and exacerbate your acne issues. Chelsea didn't have that. And so Chelsea had acne issues as a teenager, but I was very clear, like I wanted to learn to love the skin that I was in as natural as it was as possible. I wasn't trying to cover up anything. I wasn't trying to alter anything. And I was very staunchly against Chelsea wearing makeup, Chelsea relaxing her hair, Chelsea shaving her legs, Chelsea shaving her eyebrows, Chelsea doing any of that extra stuff that modified how I was naturally. Because I was very clear, I was going to learn to love this version of me because it's the most natural, real version of myself. And with that stance, as I entered the business world, I mean, maybe you can find some videos if you scroll all the way back, possibly on my Facebook page, you might find some very old videos of like me with my acne problems showing up on a live stream, doing my lives, doing what I could, right? Like I was not going to change and alter my appearance. And if y'all had a problem with it, y'all weren't my clients. That's the way that I saw it at the time. So my stance was really clear, and I was anti makeup for a very long time. Enter, and this was maybe about like 5 years ago now. Yeah, this happened maybe even six. It happened right before COVID, I think. I'm almost sure it happened right before COVID. Um, at that point, I entered into a client relationship with someone who um she really appreciated the work that I brought to her team. She really like saw my expertise and really appreciated that. And she wanted to collaborate with me on an offer. So basically, we would both take like photos, we do a photo shoot together, and I would be featured alongside her for this offer. I was like, cool. Ain't no problem with that. I would love to collaborate with you. I'd love to support your people in this way. I'm happy to like jump in and offer my services. And I was really like, I believed in what she was doing. And so I was here for it. And so sis is scheduling the photo shoot and looking for photographers because she visited Jamaica at the time, looking for photographers. And she's like, okay, let me also book the makeup artist. I'm like, wait, book the who? For who? Moi? C'est pas possible. C'est pas possible. Non. Moi? No. I was not having it. And I kind of told her where I stand. I was like, look, I don't do makeup. I don't wear makeup. It's not something that I am interested in pursuing. And I think my stance had softened a bit by that time, in the sense that I could be persuaded. And if I'm gonna be honest, I could be persuaded because I wanted her to be happy. Like she was a client and I was in my people pleasing era. And I wanted her to be happy with the photos. And so I kind of relaxed my vendetta for that specific scenario. So she booked the photo shoot, she booked the makeup artist, everything is locked in. Chelsea's like, all right, I guess I can try it. I've never had my makeup done by a professional makeup artist before. And the very last time before that I had my makeup done was probably in high school, which would have been, this was 2019. This would have been in 2008. So a decade before. When I tell you I don't wear makeup, I don't wear makeup. The most I will wear is a tinted lip balm, not even a lip gloss, a tinted lip balm. And I scrutinize the ingredients before I put that thing on my lips because it's going down into my gut. And I'm very aware of that. In any case, coming back to the story, makeup artist is booked. I'm like, all right, I can try making this lady happy. It's gonna be a good time. We're gonna get the photos that we need, and the offer is gonna be ready to go. Bruh, tell me why. She also booked a hairstylist for herself. I was just gonna wear a twist out because my hair in all its glory is amazing. Ain't no way I'm not showing that in a photo shoot. Like I didn't need to get my hair done. Just do a twist out. And so my hair is done. I know exactly what I'm wearing. Sis is in her hotel getting her hair done. First of all, tell me why the hairstylist shows up late. Hairstylist shows up late. So we are running hella late for this day to start. Cool. Secondly, I'm in communication with her all day. We're messaging back and forth. WhatsApp like off the chain on my phone because I'm checking in with her because I have to come from my house where I live, which is about like 45 minutes to an hour away depending on traffic. I have to drive from here, go all the way into Kingston to meet her for the photo shoot, and she's coming from her hotel going to the studio. And so, or rather, going to the makeup artist, and then we were both going to drive to the studio. That was the plan. And I am back and forthing with her on WhatsApp from, I think this shoot was going to happen on it might have been like a Thursday or a Friday. Thursday or a Friday, I think. I'm back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And she is livid because the hairstylist is late and because the more the hairstylist works on her hair, the more she hates it. And in my head, with my little people pleasing self at the time, I was low key freaking out because I was like, there's probably something I could have done to make sure that, like, to check in last minute to see that these people came on time, to check in last minute to see that they were clear on the style that they were doing, all these things. Like, I'm in my head. I explicitly remember, because it gets worse. I explicitly remember at the end of the day, and actually, I can probably go back in my phone and find the note that I wrote that day, like detailing every check that I need to make when I'm working with a client who's hiring outside providers and I am with that client. And I'm like, this disaster is never happening again. So in my head, I'm low key like beating myself up for not confirming with these people. Remember, Chelsea at that time was a high key people pleaser. She ain't like that now. But she, sweet, sweet darling child. She just wanted the best for this client. And it was very clear that they were unhappy. Okay. And so my WhatsApp is blowing up. She low key cussing about her hair. I think she corrected the stylist a couple of times. It never worked. And it was hella tight. Like I think she was doing a sewing of some kind. And her hair was so tight. She had a headache before the stylist was done. So she cussing, cussing, cussing. I'm freaking out, freaking out, freaking out at home. And eventually I'm like, okay, I coordinate with her. I leave home to meet her potentially at the makeup artist studio. I arrive at the studio and we are waiting for a solid, probably like 30 to 40 minutes. Sis isn't here yet. because her hair is still not finished. And I'm just like, all right, at this rate, we're going to be late for the photographers. But I don't like nobody told them because at this point, the hairstylist was already late and that threw off the whole day. So we were low key, I think in the back of my mind, we were kind of low key like, look, we're not going to tell the photographers because we don't want them come late either. We'd rather apologize and pay like a delay fee or something like that than make them come late. Right? I think that's how it went. And I'll tell you why in a minute. So I'm there waiting. The makeup artist is there waiting. And remember, she is like she's an expert. She's been doing this for decades. She does a lot of the high profile weddings in Jamaica and she also like travels around the world training people. So like exceptional. I don't think I could have asked for a better makeup artist on that day. And you can see it in the photos because guess what? It's the photo, like that headshot, that makeup was done by her. And as you can probably tell, it's beautifully done. It's a great look, very like not overwhelming, not like I look overly done up. I look like myself. I don't look way out there, right? And so we're waiting there, we're sitting there, waiting, waiting, waiting. I am getting to know her, getting to know her business, because my client was also there for a business retreat and like a seminar series that we had done. I think we had either done before or after this, one of them. So in any case, I'm there chatting with this makeup artist, but very painfully aware that we are running late and I feeling like I could have done something to prevent this. By the time my client arrives to the makeup artist studio, she is livid. Her head is on fire. She hates the way it turned out. She's not even dressed, which is kind of ish to expected because she had multiple outfit changes. But like the fact that she didn't even have on the first outfit and we were running late was insane. And I think we called the photographers. I think we called the photographers to confirm that, hey, y'all are gonna be on site and ready. And they said yes. And so it was like a rush. And actually, what ended up happening was before she even arrived at the makeup studio, she told the makeup artist to go ahead and do my makeup, which is how I ended up sitting in that chair shaving off my parts of my eyebrows. It wasn't like my whole eyebrow was shaved off. But I was like, because again, the makeup artist asked me, she was very professional. She was like, hey, would you have a problem if we experiment with this? And I told her, I was very clear on my stance about makeup with her too. I was like, look, this isn't something that I do. It's not something that I'm interested in doing. I can appreciate the artistry of it, but this is what it means to me and it's not my vibe. And she's like totally understandable, blah 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 blah. And we have a good conversation about it. So she asked me, Chelsea, it would really pull together the look if we can define your brow line. And so, would you be okay with me taking off a slight bit of your eyebrow hair under the brow line? The brow line, and I'm just like, okay. I tell her okay, and so this lady is there with a razor in hand. But I mean, I trusted her completely. I didn't think anything was going to happen to me. But like feeling the razor against the under like right underneath the eyebrows, y'all. It's like, okay, this is happening. I suppose. Here we are. We're doing it. And as I said, I was not as uncomfortable as I thought I was gonna be, except for, and I don't know how y'all ladies, I suppose it's because y'all do it all the time. Anybody who wears makeup, even like cosplay folks, like anyone, anybody, any gender who wears makeup, I don't know how y'all survive the waterline situation with the eyeliner. I'm sorry. Like, because I don't do it every day, bruh, it's so irritating. It is so irritating to my eyes. And I felt the same way when I did my makeup in high school for my graduation photos. What, nearly 11 years before then. I felt the exact same way. Tissues upon tissues to like dab at the tears running up on my eyes. because doing the waterline is a disaster on Justice's eyes. If and when I get married, I'm gonna have to tell whoever my makeup artist is it to be like, yo, can you do the waterline first? Because it goes spoil everything else if you don't do it first. Seriously. In any case, the look is finished. I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, hot damn, I don't look half bad. This is well done. Thank you. And like I said, these are the headshot photos that I use nearly everywhere now. I use these on a very regularly. And these were taken a while back. Like I said, it's about 6 years ago. So it's a good time ago, but like they're so I think it's not even how my face looks. It's more so how everything came together. Like the setting that I was in, the outfit that I was wearing, and I felt really confident in addition to like my face and my hair. Bro, whenever my hair is out, Chelsea will feel herself. Chelsea will praise the Lord for the wondrous work that he has done. Whenever my hair is like fully out, y'all, I enjoy wearing my hair out. So I think that made it very easy for me to take and love those photos. It was less about the makeup and more about the entire look that came together and the space that came together that day. In any case, I finish my look feeling all right, feeling good about it. All right, cool. We want to take photos, but feeling very uncomfortable because I am now getting the service that she was supposed to get, that my client was supposed to get before me. This is her photo shoot. She is collaborating with me. She is paying. Yes, she's paying for a significant portion of all of this. This is her offer. I am a featured guest that she's collaborating with to serve her people. So now I am feeling distinctly uncomfortable, not for the reason I thought I was going to. I thought I was going to feel uncomfortable about the makeup. It wasn't the makeup, it was everything else, the whole situation. So my client finally arrives at the makeup studio. My makeup is finished, and she sends me ahead of her because she wanted to ensure that I was there as early as I could be when the photographers arrived. Bro, tell me why I arrive at the place and the photographers are also late. Y'all, oh my gosh. That day was a rough day. That day was such a rough day. The photographers are late. This is the first time I'm doing anything like this. Still within my capability, but the day has already gone so badly. My client is so miserable. I am acutely aware that I am in a position where it's almost like I'm taking advantage of the things that were supposed to be hers. Now, don't get me wrong. As I said, she is the one who said, do her makeup first. She is the one who sent me along to the location, right? So, like, it's not, I don't think she felt that way in any way, but I personally felt that way because this was supposed to be her thing. I am the collaborator, I am not the main show. And so I arrive, the photographers are not there. We're everybody like I'm trying to not even tell my client. I'm trying to just sort this issue out. Eventually I have to tell her because we're calling, we can't get anybody, nobody's showing up, da 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 da. So I tell my client, she's of course even more pissed than she already was. Long story short, they eventually arrive. She's not done in the makeup chair yet. And she is of course feeling utterly miserable. I don't even think she had eaten at that point. And so she arrives after the photographers finally arrive, miserable. And she tells me to go ahead and take my photos first. Y'all, if I had known better, I would have insisted. I would have insisted no. But I think she wanted a moment to either eat or something, or just compose herself, something along those lines. And she was really upset because the photographers were also late. And the whole day was just not going the way that it was planned to go. And so I'm standing there taking these photos, doing this photo shoot that's supposed to be hers. And I'm just like, this is deeply uncomfortable. I despise this. I despise this in every single way. And I think if I had spoken up sooner and insisted that this is her day, it's not my place to take her place in these proceedings. And if it means that we cancel and that like we try to do this again another time, or we just work with the photos that we have, I should have insisted, because guess what ended up happening? Chelsea's the only one who took photos that day. Chelsea is the only one who took photos that day. I ended up being It ended up being a situation where my client just was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. I'm over this. My head is killing me. I barely ate today. I barely slept properly last night. And from dawn until now, the only service provider that has delivered me the full service in the proper way that they promised was my makeup artist. And everybody else has been a mess. And I'm over it. And so she walks out to the photo shoot. And I'm the only one who takes pictures that day. Can you now imagine how deeply uncomfortable I felt? How disturbed I was, and how much I was blaming myself, because I was like, Chelsea, you should have done something to make sure all these people were confirmed and the times were confirmed. Now, at that time, like me, the version of me now was like, Chelsea, there's nothing you could have done. Because even if you had confirmed, okay, so you confirm, that don't stop them from coming late. That don't stop them from doing business about you and your clients. People are people. Service providers do whatever they want. And as a matter of fact, who knows what the kind of day that they were having, right? Who knows what was happening for them? So there's nothing I really could have done. But I felt again like I was taking advantage of her kindness. And I also felt, and not just her kindness, but like this opportunity that was supposed to be hers, to visually represent this offer that we were going to be doing together. And so, in the midst of all of that, she left. She went back to her hotel. A couple other ladies who were friends of hers and also participants in a program that we had done before for her were also there on site. And so we were kind of trying, me and them were trying to be kind of like the middleman with the photographer, but it wasn't working. And my client actually demanded, hey, since y'all were late and y'all didn't deliver the service the way that you promised, and only Chelsea got to take photos, you're going to give me my money back for half of this. And they refused. It was this whole thing. And so the whole day was a crap show. In any case, what ended up happening was I leave with the other ladies there, and we head to their place. And their house is stunning. The grounds are beautiful. There's greenery everywhere. I'm like, okay, this is also lovely. And I'm just gonna chill and wait to be picked up and wait, and so I can get on my way to go home. And they're like, no, Chelsea, you look too good. We're gonna take some photos of you. And I'm feeling really awkward now because I'm just like, y'all, guys, I just did this stupid photo shoot and the whole thing was a disaster. I don't want to do anything else. And they're like, no, 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 no. You did your makeup, you had the outfit. Winner, make it go to waste. As a matter of fact, make we see the clothes. Because I'd already taken the outfit off and put that away. They're like, no, go for the clothes. The minute I put on that outfit, they're like, we're taking pictures immediately. Immediately. So they literally had me walk around, move to different locations on the outside of the house, taking pictures for a solid maybe like hour and a half. And eventually I got into it and eventually I enjoyed myself. But in the back of my mind, I was 100% like, this day didn't go well and my client is displeased and I don't feel like I did right by her. And to be quite honest with you, y'all, I feel like that sort of how do I phrase that? That thing in me that was like, this, I could have done something to prevent this. And that was the story I was telling myself around going out of my way to make sure that my client needed to have a good day. Because as I told you, at the end of that day, when I finally got home after taking all those lovely photos and like being really grateful to those ladies that they took those photos of me, but also feeling like this day was a disaster and I could have done better. When I got home, I literally opened up my notes app and I was like, if ever I have a client who's doing anything else like this is the checklist. And I made this hella long checklist of every single thing that I could think of to make sure that my client who comes to Jamaica, who's doing anything here, or if I go to them and we're coordinating any kind of event, any kind of photo shoot, anything with any contractor or service provider, this is the checklist Chelsea goes down. It was not really my responsibility to do that. And I think that side note, and this is where the business tangent comes in. I think that in a lot of ways, so many of us can end up in a trap of not understanding, and it's not even understanding, it's just from out of a desire to make our funnels and our messaging and our offers convert and make sales, especially when you've been in a position where this offer was performing well before now and now it's not, and every time you launch it's like you're stuck below 1% conversion, and your people are still showing up for you but they're not buying and you can't figure out what the problem is. I think in those moments we can tend to default to doing whatever we can to try to increase sales. Just like I kind of scrambled and did whatever I can to like try to mediate with the photographer and the hairstylist and talking to the service provider and da 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 da. And just like I felt at the end of the day that there's something else that I could have done to make this a better experience for my client, not fully understanding at the time, low key because of my people pleasing. Chelsea, this is not your role. I think a lot of us in business, when we're in this situation of the not seeing the conversions we want, can forget our role in those moments. In those moments, our role is not to try and convert as many people as we can. Because especially if you've been trying for a hot minute, several months, and not seeing any change in your sales and your conversions, your role is no longer, and was not to begin with, to convert as many people as you can. Your role is to talk to the warm audience. The people who are showing up for you, you need to figure out why they're not saying yes. You don't need to deal with your whole audience right now. There's a sub-segment of your audience that signed up for your launch event. There's a sub-segment of your audience that attended your challenge, your masterclass, that is opening every single email that you send, and they click the checkout page and they don't buy. Your job in this moment is not to try and do everything you can. Your job is to stop everything else and talk to those people. Find out what's holding them back. Understand the competing priorities that are making them say no to your offer, the impressions they have about your offer that are leading them to not believe that it's not a good fit, or to believe that it's not a good fit, right? Understanding the context within which they're making this buying decision, what's going on in their life, business, health, what is the delay on the result costing them? What are the stakes if they don't get this result? And what are the stakes if they say yes to your offer and still don't get the result? Because they are calculating this in their head already. What I'm describing is a full-on buyer psychology profile of your warmest segment of leads. That is your job. That is your role. And when you don't do that, you're scrambling. You're running all over the place trying to figure out, what else can I do? What other conversion strategy is there? Who else can I hire? What funnel can I put in place? What launch strategy can I try? What new messaging tactic can I hire a copywriter to do for me? No, bro. You need to go back to your people. You need to talk to the warmest segment of your audience. Don't be like Chelsea. Don't make something, well, Chelsea 6 years ago. Don't make something that's not your responsibility in an effort to fix a problem, right? In an effort to almost desperately fix a problem, not your job. Okay? You need to understand how your people make decisions. You need to understand the buyer psychology of your people because that will tell you exactly what you need to say. Your messaging after that profile will be locked in. It is extreme. Like, quite honestly, y'all, I have in my 10 years of doing this, I have never seen. We do a survey, we talk to our people on Zoom, we talk to them on Voxer, we get their words, we understand and create this buyer psychology profile for people. And the next launch, not show evidence of it, not be better than the other launches before, especially when we're coming from under 1% conversion. I have never seen it. And I've been doing this for 10 years. So it's literally, I can't say 100% foolproof because there's always the one. There's always the 1%, but it's 99% foolproof that when you have this comprehensive buyer psychology profile of the warmest segment of your audience, you'll have a clear next step for exactly what you need to do to make your launches and your sales take an upward turn. So don't try and solve everything right now. It's not your job. Don't try and fix the funnel and try and like make the upsells work and then try at the same time be trying to get your podcast in the hands of more people at the same time be trying to launch a summit. Unnecessary. Go back to your people. That's where you start. Get that buyer psychology profile complete. It's not your job to do anything else right now. So now after I've gone on that tangent, bringing it back, that night, as I said, I made this hella long list of all the things that I thought that I could have possibly done to fix the situation. And I kind of also felt like, if I'm being honest, I also kind of felt like I didn't do my best for my client on that day. And it didn't affect how I related to makeup per se, because as I told you, I was more comfortable than I thought I was going to be. And the makeup was not the issue that day at all. The makeup was very tiny. My makeup was the least of our problems. Okay. But I think that from that day, I've never worked with a professional makeup artist because I saw the experience of what it can look like when you do the full 9 yards for a photo shoot and do the full 9 yards for your business and it just does not go well. So I'm just like, bruh, this is unnecessary. I got some great photos that day. I don't really need no more for right now. Furthermore, if I go to a retreat or an event, I'm gonna get photos anyway. So I don't need to do the full 9 yards to like hire makeup artists and hire photographer and studio and all these things. Right? I never made it a big deal in my business after that. But here's the fun part. And this is where my makeup vendetta is kind of maybe taking a turn. I'm not sure. We shall see. But long story short, a friend of mine who is a photographer reached out to me this past weekend. And she just was suddenly like, hey, Chelsea, I am working on my portfolio and looking for folks to test and try some new techniques with. I wanted to know if you would be interested in having me shoot some headshots for you. So I was just like, oh, yeah, happy to help a friend, especially because y'all, I hadn't heard from her in a hot minute. And so I was just like, all right, cool. I mean, I didn't care about the photo shoot at all. The only reason why I said yes was because I was happy to help. However, Chelsea went and Chelsea had a ball. My friend is an awesome photographer, y'all. That's the other thing. She's amazing. But we had a discussion about how I feel about makeup because obviously like she's taking headshots of me, and so we're talking about like how my face appears on camera and how my skin appears on camera. And actually she had taken headshots of my brother a couple days before because he needed some new headshots for an event that he was doing. And I told her, like, we absolutely adored, the whole family adored those photos. They were amazing. And she started to tell me how she didn't like them because the way that the light was falling on his face in particular wasn't working the way that she wanted it to work. And she couldn't quite figure out why until she showed it to another photographer, and they were like, Abby, his face was just, he didn't have on any like powder or anything. His face was just oily. And she was like, oh, right. And she saw it. She saw it when the photographer showed it to her. And she was explaining all of this to me. And this is what she said, which this changes the way that I think about makeup in a really big way. She said this to me: cameras are not eyes. Eyes are better than cameras. And so a lot of the time, a big part of why we wear makeup on camera is to enable the camera to see as much as possible what our eyes see. And I was like, say what? Come again? Because y'all, as I told you at the top of this video, for me, this was always about covering up. This was about hiding. And even when people talk about enhancing your beauty and whatever, how they enhance your beauty? By hiding the spots, by hiding the dark whatevers, by hiding the scars, by hiding the things that they don't want people to see, and putting the things that they want people to see up front. Highlighting your best features. So if your eyes are your favorite feature, or your lips are your favorite feature, or your cheekbones are your favorite feature, you highlight your best feature and you hide the rest. You tone down the rest. Right? That's what it's always been for me. That's what makeup has always been for me. And so when she said this, I was like, wait, this is actually a very technical and intentional process. It's not just about beauty and appearance and catering to the male gaze and wanting to present a version of yourself that covers up the flaws and is not the most natural version. That's not what it's about. A big part of why we do this is just to make sure the camera sees us as we are in real life, as we see one another. And I was just like, oh, makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. And I told her, girl, you have just shifted the way I think about makeup, I think. I think you've just, and she knew this about me, because I'm sure I told her a while back. She knew I'm not a makeup person, but I think she massively, and I'm still thinking about this, and I'm thinking about how it changes my approach to makeup. As I said, I think my approach has softened significantly since then. I'm very indifferent to makeup now. Like, I have it, I don't have it, I don't care. I don't go out of my way to get it, but if I'm supposed to do a photo shoot and a makeup artist is there and they have makeup that I think would look good on me, or I like the ingredients or whatever, fine. I could care less. If I don't like the ingredients, I can put it on and just wash it right back off. Like, life goes on. So I'm a lot softer on makeup now, but I think that considering the purpose of allowing the camera to see what we see with our eyes, I think that is supernatural, no? Like, if we're thinking about the most appearing in the most natural way to people digitally who cannot see me in person, right? I think it could be useful to then employ makeup for that purpose and that reason. So I'm like, huh, okay. I don't know if it means I learn to do my own makeup, and maybe I do, because like I've been interested in like makeup that is super out there, like cosplay makeup is very interesting to me because it just looks fun. But it also looks like a lot because you're like painting your whole face. Sometimes like paint your whole face red or blue or purple or green, like come all the way down to here. So it's just like, this is also a lot, but it's the effect that it creates is so fun. Um, so I've kind of had an interest in that direction, but maybe this gives me a reason to learn how to do my own makeup now. Or, maybe it's just another reason to maybe get like a red lip and some blush. Maybe I don't do the whole foundation situation and the eyeliners and the eyeshadows and the whole thing. Maybe I just do some blush, a little bit of concealer, maybe a little contour, some lipstick. Sis loves a bold red lip. I do. I do. The deep reds are my favorites. Give me a wine red. Yes, yes, yes. So like, I don't know what that means for my makeup journey, but suffice to say, I think the vendetta has been settled. Don't think I have a makeup vendetta anymore. And thankfully, I don't think that experience with my clients had soured me on makeup per se. It just never seemed necessary, or important or relevant to me. But considering the people who will see me digitally and not in person, I think there are reasons for it. And there are pros to doing my makeup for a shoot or something like that, or an event or something along those lines. So it's something I might consider in the future. All right, y'all. That is my makeup story. That's my makeup vendetta put to bed. I would love to hear any of your own like beauty narratives that you have come to in your life. Feel free to drop them in the comments below, or DM me about them. Like if you have any quirks, any things that you refuse to sort of conform to the traditional beauty standards, or if you've wrestled with the like conforming to the traditional beauty standards and not wanting to. I think that's also like something that we can explore and talk about because quite frankly, the whole issue of beauty standards is a whole other discussion that is a valid one to have. So I'm curious to hear what y'all have to say around that. And if you're listening to me talk about a comprehensive parapsychology profile and you're like, Chelsea, I hear you. This sounds like the next best thing that I should be doing, but I don't know how to do this. Feel free to reach out to me in my DMs, in my Instagram. The link is in the description box. Or you can just click on the link to work with me, y'all. Like, if you're already clear that this is exactly what you need, click on the link to work with me. That link is also available in the description box. All right, y'all. Looking forward to any questions you have on any of this. Thank you for tuning into today's video, and I will see you in the next one.